Let's get ready to duke it out. Good morning and welcome to our Collaboration Smackdown webinar comparing two great heavyweight collaboration platforms, Cisco Jabber versus Microsoft Lync. I'm Gia McNutt, CEO and co-founder of SOS, and thank you so much for joining us today. We'll spend the majority of our time together actually showing you the technology in live demonstrations, or bouts, if you will. Before we get into that, I'm going to spend just about 2 minutes giving you an overview of SOS. I'll go through our agenda briefly. We'll start with that overview I mentioned, and then we're going to actually define what is unified communications, what is collaboration in the context of today's discussion. Then we'll move to a live demonstration showing a day in the life of Cisco Jabber users, then on to round 2 for a live demo and day in the life of Microsoft Lync users. Then we'll move to our expert panel, do some questions and answers, and then we will conclude and do a raffle prize drawing for the Rock'em Sock'em robots and some of the ways you can get some more information after this webinar. If you have any questions throughout, please use your chat to submit questions at any time throughout the webinar. And during our panel discussion, we'll ask our panelists the questions you submit. SOS is a nationwide expert in collaboration and unified communications with over 2,000 networking and telephony solutions deployed. We've been deploying VoIP and unified communications since 1995 using several different platforms. That's what makes us an unbiased, vendor-neutral technology expert in an excellent position to give you the straight scoop on some of the solutions you might be evaluating today. The majority of SOS staff is comprised of engineers collectively holding hundreds of industry certifications. Even our consulting staff is engineers, so when you work with SOS, you get the very best technology and business consulting combined in a powerful 1-2 punch. We offer a variety of different solution types, cloud, on-premise, or a hybrid of the two. In addition to our expertise in system integration, we're focused on the financial aspect of our clients' operations and have a track record of identifying 20 to 60% hard cost savings for our clients. SOS provides many aspects of technology to our clients, ranging from infrastructure to unified communications, collaboration, virtualization, and storage, to name a few. We offer a range of support services, including nationwide 24/7 capabilities and proactive support solutions. As a testament to our commitment to customer satisfaction, many of these clients that you see on this slide have been with SOS for over a decade. There are many clients you'll recognize, global, and also some smaller, more local clients. SOS works effectively with clients of all sizes and in virtually every industry. So let's talk a little bit about what unified communications and collaboration means in the context of today's discussion. In today's world, your employees use a variety of channels to communicate, like Skype, mobile phones, instant messaging, etc. And you've invested in phone systems, outside conferencing bridges, collaboration services, email, and more. Both platforms we'll discuss today not only provide all these feature sets that today's tech-savvy workforce demands, but they also streamline these functions into 1 or 2 solutions, replacing several disparate products. The solutions we're discussing provide your folks the ability to work anytime, anywhere, which is the nature of so much of today's working requirements. In addition to empowering your staff to work in the ways they need to work from a variety of locations, the Anytime Anywhere capability also provides you business continuity. Major weather can impact your staff, making it hard to get to the office in a big snowstorm, for example. With unified communications and mobility, employees can work anywhere with an internet connection. There's a new acronym you're probably familiar with, BYOD, Bring Your Own Device. Team members today bring a variety of devices to the office and expect to use them. iPhone, iPad, and a host of other devices. The solutions we're discussing allow team members to use the devices they're most comfortable and productive with while still communicating securely across channels with fellow employees, business partners, vendors, and customers. Some of the drivers for the demands of your workforce today include many highly mobile departments, such as information technology, sales, operations, and service. These people need to stay in touch with their internal teams and clients and prospects. Proliferation of smartphones and tablets is also changing the customer experience, demanding interactions on the customer's preferred interface. So let's take a quick look at this Gartner slide. And as you can see, both Cisco and Microsoft are clear leaders in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. Leaders are defined by several criteria, including having a full unified communications offering, strong market presence, and proven success over time. And now we're ready for round one, our first demonstration, led by some of our most expert Cisco resources at SOS. You're all professionals, so I expect a good, clean fight. No hits below the belt. Before I turn it over, I'd like to introduce Mike Doloff, Neil Morgan, and Ryan Tyser. Okay, touch gloves and come out at the bell.
This is Mike Doloff speaking. I'm a systems consultant with SOS, and I'll be helping out with the Jabber demo today. And the goal of it is really to show you from a end-user perspective what the Jabber client looks like, how you use it, what you can do with it. So on the slide you see right now is a couple of the features we'll be going over, and any of my esteemed colleagues, if I missed something, just interrupt me and point that out. Appreciate it. Let me show you my desktop here, and we will get going. This is the Cisco Jabber client. So this is where you're going to be doing most of the work until you get into a conversation. So just to point out a couple features here. The search bar is if I wanted to add a new contact, you can search. It'll pull up names. It'll pull up folks that I'm already connected with. It'll also pull from my Outlook contacts, so I can just scroll through and add anybody I'd like. Put the plus sign and I'd add them as a new contact where I can reach them. Once you have contacts added, they're going to show up in this window right here. I've got them sorted out into the groups that I've created. You can name them however you'd like. Another thing I want to point out here is the presence indicator. So you have real-time presence. Lewis and Mike are available right now. Looks like Ryan's on a call. Neil's in Do Not Disturb mode. And this is real-time, so if something changes, there you go. Neil is now available. So that's handy. If I wanted to reach one of these guys, I'd know who's available and who's not. Another thing here on the left-hand side are a couple of different tabs. Here's my call history. So you can scroll through it. You can reply calls, see missed calls. We don't have voicemail integration on my particular client setup, but if I did, I'd have voicemail coming in here so I could respond, listen, and address voicemail right through my client. Another piece that's really good with the Cisco Jabber client is the ability to have your calendar integrated. So I've got the ability to look really quickly here at all the different things coming up. If it's a WebEx and I have WebEx integration, I have the ability to click on an icon and actually enter that WebEx session, whether or not I'm the host, directly from my Jabber client. So let's go back here to the contacts for a minute. If I wanted to get a hold of Neil, for example, in a average work situation, Neil and I work together all the time. So let me pop it up here. It looks like he's available. I'll start a chat with him. Just get everything situated so you can see. So right now, when you enter into a conversation, you open up a new window, and if I were to have multiple conversations going, if I were to start another one with Mike, for example, they open as separate tabs here, so I can just toggle between the different conversations. So it's all nice into one pane right there. I'll exit out with Mike and just talk with Neil. I'll show you a couple features here. So one of the neat things I think the Cisco Jabber client that I haven't seen before is the screen capture tool. So if I wanted to just show Neil something in particular from my desktop, I can take a screen capture of it and send it off to Neil just like that. So it's just one button, capturing what I want, send it on, and it integrates in with the message thread. If I wanted to send Neil a file, just click on this, find whatever file I needed to send, and it'll send it as well. Neil can accept it right through the client, so we're not switching back and forth, going to his email. He can do it right through here. If I wanted to add another member to this, I would just search for somebody to add. I could grab Ryan and pull him in. I won't do that right now. And also, if Neil and I were just chatting along, having a good time, but I thought it'd be easier for us to talk live, I could just escalate this into a call. So just click here, call his number, give it a second to connect, And there's Neil. All right. So Neil and I can chat here. We can stop the video, of course. I've got it set to default to launch with my video whenever I make a call. I can obviously change that setting. I could also stop my video if I just wanted to go to audio. And then one of the last features I wanted to show you is if Neil was working on a document, or if I was for that matter, but so you can see if Neil was working on something and wanted to show me, he can share his desktop with me and we can collaborate that way.
Yeah, Mike, how are you? I'm going to share my document I need you to look at real quick.
Sounds good. All right.
Hopefully you should see my TPS report.
I do, and I can, on my end, I can, of course, maximize it here if I want to see this full screen.
And I'm going to make a quick change. Looked like Ryan was trying to take credit for your TPS report, so I'm going to put your name on there.
I appreciate that.
I hit save, and that's good to go. I'm going to stop sharing now.
All right. Good. And then it just goes back to our video and chat. If I want to pop this out, I can move the video portion of this. You can minimize, maximize, do what you want. There's other functions you can do with that. And then, of course, I've got my chat window here. I can make it into a single pane, too, if I want. And the last thing I want to show before we switch over is, and give the time for the Lync group to do their demo, is just want to show the WebEx escalation. So if Neil and I were on a call, and this could be for a single conversation, or it could be a conference conversation, I can escalate it up into a WebEx meeting if I have that integration in place. I don't obviously have that right now, so it's grayed out. But you have that, so we can instantly take this and escalate it into a WebEx meeting and then have all the capabilities you have with WebEx. All those features would then be available to us. So with that, I will wrap this up and turn it back over to the Lync team to show their live demo.
My name is Justin Bugatti, and I'm also a systems consultant with Special Order Systems. So I'm going to go and kind of show Lync here a little bit, kind of the same way that Mike was showing it here. As we talk about, mobility and unified communications, again, like Gia said earlier, is that Lync and Jabber are both great products. They have their own little flavor on it, and I'm going to show you guys kind of what Lync looks like and how I use it on my day-to-day basis. I'm going to pull up my desktop here real fast. This is the Lync client here. As you can see, very similar to Jabber. I can type a contact from within the search field. It's going to pull my Outlook information. If you are socialized through LinkedIn or Facebook from within Outlook itself, it'll pull those other feeds as well. When I grab a contact and hover over it, I get a number of different screen here that I can show. Right-clicking, I can view the contact card. This is pulling from Outlook itself. As you can see, it kind of shows some information based on their calendar. It said he's busy and he's free at 2:30. Click the organization window. This actually pulls from Exchange, which is really cool. You can see who your manager is and also who may share the same manager. It's nice to collaborate and find the right team members. When we go through here, I can send us a message. I can actually make a call. If you are enabled for Lync Enterprise Voice, you can actually make PSTN calls or VoIP calls. Start a video call. I can start a sharing session based on what programs are open or the desktop. Within the email message, I can do an email, schedule a meeting, and do multiple pieces here. So for right now, I'm going to go and actually message Drew here real quick because I also have a TPS letter that is a little challenging. Because I unfortunately did not get the memo. So since I'm already in a share right now and Drew is within the meeting itself, I were to click the share button, it's actually going to pull it away. So we're going to go and use this from the primary one. And if I click on this button here, I can actually share the control with anyone who is in the same conference. So I'm going to go and grab Drew's name, or Drew to request sharing automatically. Pop-up windows like WebEx and their conferencing features come up. So Drew's going to go and have control of my desktop here for a second. Now I'm going to go and pop up my my report here, and I'm having some challenges real quick. As you can see, changing the logo from the Initech to SOS. It's really fast. I can collaborate here. So Drew, can you help me with the logo? Can you hear me at all? So Drew, can you go and help me real quick and change that logo in Office? Yes, please. Awesome, Drew. Thanks a ton. So what I can do now is I can, again, just grab my control button, take back control. I'm actually going to save this file here real quick, and just like Jabber, Lync has the ability to do to transfer files. So instead of actually having a button right there, all I have to do is actually just grab my file and drag and drop into the chat window, and the sharing request is going to come across. Addition to sharing your desktop or whatnot, you actually have the opportunity in a collaboration session to share a PowerPoint presentation like we were doing earlier today, a whiteboard, or a poll. I can also show the stage and see what content is being shared. Again, it gives you a lot of powerful abilities when in a collaboration session to bring multiple people in. One of the features I like most about Jabber, as Neil and Mike were talking about, Lync, is the ability to quickly invite participants. And in this meeting here with a one-to-one, I can quickly go and grab through and just go through and invite a participant. I can drag and drop within my conference menu. I can invite other people to a meeting, and this can be both Lync VoIP or over PSTN, and have multiple sharing and presentation going through it. Again, it's a very powerful application.
So it's time now to move on to our expert panel. We have assembled an expert panel from both the Cisco and Microsoft teams here at SOS and beyond. And if you haven't already, please do feel free to send us some questions, and we'll serve them up to our expert panel. While you're doing that, allow me to formally introduce you to Neil Morgan, Mike Doloff, and Ryan Tyser, who you heard from earlier, part of our expert Cisco team here at SOS, and also Justin Bugatti and Jim Bass, part of the SOS Microsoft Lync team. And I'd also like to welcome and thank John Lockett, owner and consultant of IT Logistics, a consulting firm we work closely with and who's been implementing Lync for the past 6 years. Okay, let's get started with our first question. I'd like to pose this to Justin first. What enterprise video conferencing systems work well with Lync?
Okay, I'll take a stab at that. There are quite a few vendors out there that have updated their own firmware to work with Lync, but officially certified, currently Lifesize, Polycom, RadVision are on the certification list. Timber was previously before it was acquired. It's a relatively open standard, and with Lync 2013 and the H.323 support, there's even going to be quite a bit more integration capabilities with other vendors announcing support for that platform.
Great. I would like to then allow the Cisco team to answer that question relative to Cisco Jabber. So Neil, you want to take that, or Mike, or Ryan?
This is Neil. Yeah, as far as it relates to video conferencing, Cisco Jabber will integrate and can integrate using what they now call WebEx telepresence. Will allow us to integrate using a cloud-based bridge, and can integrate with any H.323 device. So if that's Polycom or Lifesize or VidIO or an old legacy Tandberg solution, it doesn't matter. As long as it's H.323 gateway, there is the ability to integrate. This is all new, of course, in 9.x and higher, but with Cisco, what they refer to Jabber telepresence, that can be premise-based as well as cloud simultaneously, or purely cloud. And there's a whole nother discussion and probably another session just on how that works, but we can dig into that at some point if anyone's interested. Bottom line is you can do Jabber to Jabber, point-to-point video throughout the system using Jabber, same as Lync. And then if you needed to escalate this into a three-way video, you would have to rely on Cisco Jabber telepresence in order to do 3, 4, 5, and so forth to get those concurrent sessions.
Great. Thank you, Neil. I'd like to go to the next question, and I'll just let anyone who would like to answer it. But how scalable is each solution?
Again, Neil here with SOS regarding Jabber, and I'll take that stab at that first. It actually, and not to be confusing, but I'm going to use the phrase unlimited here. I know that's a loaded response, but when placing an order with Cisco in the system today, as I mentioned, 8.x or higher, Jabber is free. And although you may have a user that's utilizing a phone and a Unity Connection voicemail message mailbox license, in addition to that, there's no limit to how many Jabber licenses are associated with that user. It assumes when you're logging in and you're placing your order, and we're taking advantage of the free component of Jabber, which is presence, IM, and chat primarily. We can put that on iPads, iPhones, Androids, Mac devices, Windows devices. So you can input as many licenses as you need when you're doing your order, whether it be a 250 user deployment or a 2,200 user deployment. We can add as many Jabber licenses as we need to cover those users. And then the only caveat to this is if Jabber is being used as an actual soft phone, which is probably not very likely, but there are going to be rare occasions where Jabber is being used as the soft phone. In those instances, you are acting as a user on the Cisco system, and therefore you would be you'd be relegated to the number of users based on the size of the server. For example, if we were on the Cucumber or CUCMB E6K, Business Edition 6000, if you will, then you would only be allowed 1,000 Jabber clients if they were all being used as soft phones. That's, again, not very likely, but that sort of gives you an idea of what the scalability is. That's it for the Jabber side.
Great. Thank you, Neil. I'd like to turn it over to the Microsoft side of the house to answer the scalability question.
Sure, I can take that. This is John Lockett. With Microsoft Lync, scalability is pretty straightforward. Like with the Cisco products, there is some dependency on which components are going to be largely utilized to determine scale. For example, IM and presence requires very little processor overhead, so it scales pretty significantly with very few resources. But having said that, the complexity of Lync is well, there's far less complexity because you have one system providing voice, video, instant message capabilities, web collaboration, all in one system. Scaling is accomplished with using pools of servers. Within each pool of servers, you can add additional servers to provide more horsepower. And there's formulas for the right number of servers based on the kind of use cases that would be leveraged within a customer environment. So I guess the short answer is yes, it scales very well, and it's just a function of what you want to do with it.
Great. Thank you, John. So the next question is specifically a Jabber question. And the question is, not using virtualization, how many boxes, servers, do I need to have a full redundant Cisco solution with IM, presence, audio, video, web conferencing, and telephony for 1,000 users? And I know that's a very specific question. And if it's too specific at this moment, Neil, let me know. We'll move on to the next question. But if you can, take a stab at it. Or Ryan, feel free.
Sure. I will. Ryan, you step in if I lie, or I get out of line here. Basically, for a 6K, Cisco Unified Communications Manager Business Edition 6000, holy smokes, mouthful of acronyms there. We can support 1,000 users, and with 9.x or higher now, we can deploy up to 5 applications on each one of those Business Edition servers. And essentially, the Business Edition 6K is now basically a UCS C220 server. That's Cisco's branded UCS server platform that they're pushing so heavily. So again, another whole conversation we can have regarding that. But the Business Edition 6K lives on a UCS C220 with VMware. We can support up to 5 applications on each one of those servers. You can pair them or cluster them together and have 2 servers, same location or geographically separated out. We like to look at DR in our deployment model, so geographically we can split up the business editions and still cluster them together. And you can have the communications manager, pub and sub on each one of those 6Ks. You have Unity connection in high availability mode, and you can have presence in high availability mode on both of those servers. And to do that and to achieve that level of high availability, it requires no special licenses. If we're going to add call center or a tenant console or anything else that emergency responder, for example, those items, there are additional licenses and different components that we have to take a look at for high availability. But hopefully that answers the question. If we need anything else, let me know. Ryan, did I miss anything?
No, you did a great job, Neil.
Thanks, Ryan and Neil. Okay, here's a great question for both. How do the mobile clients compare for Lync and Jabber? And specifically, they've also asked, how about iPhone, iPad, and Android? But would John or Jim like to get a stab at that first, and then we can move over to the Cisco folks to answer for them?
Sure. There is a new mobile client coming out for Android, iPhone, and or iPad/iPhone, and Windows Phone that supports full voice, video, collaboration, as well as instant messaging. The current client, which was designed originally for Lync 2010, does instant messaging, call via work feature. That's a capability of you call a contact that uses your telephone minutes versus your data plan. So that's changing with the beta client. Well, the current client is in beta. It'll be released, I believe, in April, and that'll be available for iPhone, Windows Phone, Android. You'll have the ability to do call via work or call using voice over IP over your data plan, as well as video collaboration with other folks, assuming that you have a camera on your phone. So I'd say I'm not sure how that stacks up against what's available on the Jabber side, but I'm sure they can answer that.
One thing too, guys, if everybody can hear me, is
over to the Cisco side of the house to answer the question about the mobile devices.
Sorry, I was actually typing, trying to get a response in here. As far as mobile devices go, to simplify this, because again, these questions can go as deep as we'd like to take them. But I think from a high level, Jabber is supported currently on all the Mac, basically the Mac and Windows devices, Android, iPhone, iPad. So we're covered from that respect. You can have those the client working on those devices. We could actually take it a step further if you needed to have remote connectivity at any time. There's the ability to add SSL and certain VPN connections to your main network or at your headquarters facility by either upgrading your existing firewall. I'll throw out Cisco ASA, but whatever firewall you have, there's some capabilities there that we could throw in a VPN and allow those remote mobile devices to connect and continue to function as if you're on the network.
Great. Okay. Let's go with, here's a good one. And this is a question for both. Pretty sure I know the answer, but we'll let the panel answer. Is it fair to say that Cookie Link is not the vision for Microsoft or Cisco going forward?
Yes, and I answered this one, and I am as well. I'll just kind of review it. Cookie Link, it provides a particular coverage for a user base, a very specific user base for Cisco. They will continue to support it as long as that user base exists. That being said, it will continue to be in the life cycle of Cisco's product.
Great. All right, excellent. Let's see here. Here's a Jabber question. Does Jabber require a Cisco PBX, or can it interoperate with Avaya as a backend?
Jabber uses a very unique interface with the Cisco Unified Communications Manager. In an Avaya integration, what we would be looking at is still having a call manager, and the call manager supplying that integration with the Avaya phone system.
Great.
So the simple answer is, though, yeah, you could make that work for sure.
Yeah, you could make it work. It would involve, again, a call manager in between the Avaya and the Presence system. Wouldn't require much licensing. It would just be enough to control those phone calls.
Okay, great. Here's a good one. What type of federations are supported with Lync and with Jabber?
I can take that
for Microsoft Lync. Currently supports PIC federation with MSN or Live or Yahoo, Google, or Google Talk, not Google Talk, but Google's Jabber, also AOL and their affiliate instant message systems, as well as other OCS or Lync federated partners that a company might have, which is pretty typical. If folks aren't set up to federate with the public providers, often they are set up to federate and so that they can have context-rich collaboration with their partners, and it supports that.
And I can answer that for the Jabber side as well. So Jabber supports SIP integration and XMPP integration. It's really meant to be a platform for those integrations or federations, if you will. In that, it supports integration or federation with Lync, Google Talk, other Jabber instances, and AOL Instant Messenger as well, just to name a few popular instant messaging services.
Great. Here's another good question for both. Can someone please speak to this from both sides about the virtualization capabilities of both solutions?
Sure, I can take that for the Lync side. Lync is voice supported.
First. This is Neil again. So from a virtualization standpoint, this Jabber is supported with VMware, and it is supported on any hardware, so we can virtualize on anything that IBM, HP, of course Cisco, UCS. Currently there's no support when virtualizing on Dell. I don't know how long that's going to last, if that's going to change. I know it's on the roadmap, but currently that's not supported. Also not supported in Hyper-V, so be aware, VMware.
Also, I will just add to that, it's supported in ESXi 4.x and 5.x. There is no plan on the roadmap to be supported in ESXi 3.5 or lower.
Great. Someone want to address that on the Microsoft side?
Sure. The Lync supports ESX and Hyper-V. Obviously, with Microsoft's focus on Hyper-V, they favor it with a bit higher metrics, but in the real world, I see both ESX and Hyper-V deployments of Lync. With Lync 2013, almost no advisor, really no advisory stipulation on a reduction in scalability on the virtualized platforms.
Okay. This is a very specific question, I think. Is the node-based redundancy resiliency active or active? Redundancy resilient, active, or active standby?
Yes. So just to summarize that question, it's asking, is the node redundancy for the high availability systems of both Lync and Jabber active, where both nodes are active at the same time, or is it active standby, where one of the nodes is actually passive at the time? And while I'm speaking, I'll go ahead and answer the question for Jabber. So Jabber does have an active high availability standpoint. So you can actually have in a given cluster active nodes providing capabilities to multiple users, and those users get load balanced across the two nodes. In addition to that, you could as well join additional clusters together to form an active configuration if you'd like as well.
With Microsoft, it's very similar. You have within a pool active, and with Lync, I'll stipulate, since both versions are available, Lync 2010 for instant messaging, you wouldn't have failover between pools, but with Lync 2013, you do. You have full functionality between your Lync pools if you choose to mirror them. So you'd have active potentially, or active-passive between Lync pool clusters or Lync pool replicated partners. And that's also available for, since there were some questions I noticed in the forum on minimum number of servers, with Lync 2013 Standard Edition, you could also have off-site another, or within the same site, another Lync 2013 Standard Edition as a replicating partner for all modalities, enterprise voice, instant message, web conferencing, failover. So, which sounds very similar to Cisco offering.
Okay, great. Here's a very specific Lync Mobile question. Lync Mobile on iOS requires communication traversal through our Microsoft Edge server, then Microsoft Network, then through the Apple Network. Is that correct?
Well, actually, Lync Mobile uses what's typically referred to as a reverse proxy. It has a fat client component on the actual mobile device, but it's using web services via reverse proxy. For Windows and Apple devices, since they receive message alerts from applications through the Apple network and through the Windows network versus Android, which is pretty much listening all the time, Apple and Windows have chosen to conserve battery life by allowing applications to fade into the background, receive alerts from their network, which that other leg of those clients, both Apple and Windows clients, requires communication from your front-end pool to be able to traverse through the edge to the Apple or Windows network, so that the Apple or Windows network could then alert the device that, hey, you've got an incoming call or instant message, and ask the user for permission to bring the application into the foreground. But by and large, just to answer the core of the question, the client leverages web services only. The mobile client doesn't communicate directly with the edge.
Great. Thank you. This may be our last question. I'd like to ask each team to address the question of what cloud-based options are there at this time.
Well, I can start off since I was just finishing up with that. Of course, Microsoft Office 365 is a quite robust platform if you're interested in hosting Lync in the cloud. And if you want to add enterprise voice, there are a few partners that are providing that through the cloud services with it integrated. I'll let someone take over for the WebEx. I think WebEx has quite a reputation of existing as a hosted solution, so you probably could explain that.
Yeah, I'll tackle a little bit of that. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. WebEx Connect has been a product that's been around for a while, and they're going to keep that around at least in the short term. And that's a similar product, similar look and feel to the Cisco Jabber. Of course, it's cloud-based, subscription-based. Another option is they do make WebEx also can provide Cisco Jabber from the cloud, and meaning you've got the present servers are hosted up in Cisco's cloud. You can integrate it however you'd like. if you've got premise-based or some other hosted or cloud PBX. So you have that capability. There's also, of course, the possibility of doing hybrid type situations where you have, for example, premise-based PBX, but you have the IM presence soft phone piece hosted up in the cloud with WebEx. So you can do it kind of a multitude of ways. People are, of course, when you go that route, you, of course, have capabilities beyond the client piece to talk about the integration with WebEx, and we didn't really show those, but we talked on them briefly on the demo. You have a lot of those capabilities as well, and of course, WebEx is certainly a leader in the collaboration marketplace. It's a very tried and true, mature product that gives you a lot of functionality. So you have that option when you start looking at cloud deployments for Jabber. You of course have a lot more doors open up for that integration.
Well, great. I think we're going to move on, but I really thank everyone for submitting their questions and the panel for their answers. So we're just going to sum things up here in the final scorecard. As you can see, there are no knockouts here. Pound for pound, both platforms offer strong feature sets. It can be quite challenging to identify what the key differences are and which ones matter most to your business. The Cisco Jabber key features include being able to leverage your existing Cisco Unified Communications and infrastructure investment. And Jabber offers free instant messaging, presence, and Microsoft integration. The integration capabilities of Jabber are very strong with WebEx, and WebEx is a very proven one-to-many webinar platform and training platform. Cisco Jabber offers a collaboration solution for all devices and platforms and integrates with the telepresence solutions. On the Microsoft Lync side of the house, there's a unified application experience across all devices and platforms. And what we mean by that is that there's a very familiar look and feel. Users are used to being in Microsoft applications, and these interfaces in Lync look just like they're used to with Outlook. So it's a very easy learning experience. Certainly a good reason to consider Lync, much as it is with Cisco, is being able to leverage your existing Microsoft investment. There's integrated conferencing. It's a single product for audio and video, and when you schedule or reschedule an appointment, you don't have to change the audio or the conferencing bridge. It goes along with your appointment. That's a pretty cool feature. And there are vast video conferencing options that integrate with Lync. So much of what will make the most sense of your environment will depend on your organization's specific needs and your existing investments. The product sets will continue to evolve and leapfrog each other. It's important to select a consultant that has expertise in multiple systems and the real-world experience deploying them in a multitude of environments and integrations. We look forward to the opportunity to discuss your environment and objectives in a future one-on-one dialogue with you. Before we conclude, I'd like to leave you with an invitation, a special offer, to have our expert consultants come in and meet with you to better understand your business, needs, objectives, your environment, and your existing investments. In this meeting, we will be able to help you understand some of the driving factors and shape a smart approach to meeting your objectives, making the best use of your existing investments. You will be receiving an email from this webinar as a follow-up that you can reply to request that meeting, or just give one of us a call. I would also like to invite you to subscribe to our blog at team-sos.com/blog. Our blog has regular advice, gotchas, and other important information from a real, true, unbiased opinion. So a special thank you to our panelists for all of your expert input and advice. And thank you to all our attendees today. It's been our pleasure to have this opportunity to share our unique viewpoints and content with you. We look forward to the opportunity to speak with you in person and to seeing you in one of our future webinars. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks for making some time to join us today.